to use the for each loop in Java. To get started, I'm going to go to our last lesson on arrays, introduction to arrays, and I'm going to copy that program over. I'm going to do a copy, paste, rename this program to arrays for each loop 2. Since this is the shorter version, we had the full-length version. If you want to take a look at that, you can do that on our website. So this one is going to be a shorter version, and the website is right here. So if you want to see the full version of this lesson, you can go there and check it out. Anyway, so here I'm going to remove all this code from our last lesson, and I'm just going to leave the array part here. So I'm going to change the array to 10 elements, remove these comments, and run it. And as you can see, all we're doing is we're loading from 0 to 9 into the array, and then we're just printing the array over here using a regular for loop. So now I'm going to make some changes. Instead of declaring the array of 10 elements, I'm going to change it. For today's lesson, I'm going to change it to a string array. And it's going to be, I'm going to initialize my array here. So instead of saying there's 10 elements and it doesn't have anything loaded into the array, I'm going to initialize the array to a bunch of values. So I'm going to have 0, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I'm going to initialize it to 4 different values. That means my new array, my new string array here is going to have 4 elements. Starting with element 0 has the value of 0 in it. Element 1 has the value of 1 in it, which is a string 0 for the string 1, and so on. The last element is A3, it's going to have 3 in it. And for the for each loop, well, actually before we get there, so now I no longer need to load those elements of the array because they are being loaded with these values up here. Now I just need to print them out. So instead of using this regular for loop, I'm going to change it to a for each loop. So since I changed my array to a string array, I'm going to change this to string, and I'm going to have a value. So I'm defining a variable value of type string that's going to take the value of each cell of the array. So my array is the name of the array is A, and I'm gonna print out the value on each iteration. So basically, this for each loop, this is called the for each loop. And basically it takes an array and it automatically loops through the array. For each element of the array, starting with element 0, it's gonna load A0, the value of A0, into this variable. And the data type here has to match the data type of the array. So it's gonna load the value of A0 into this value, then it goes down to here, it prints the variable value. Then it goes to the next iteration, which is A1. It's going to load the value of A1 into the same variable, and it's going to print that variable. So it's going to do this until there's no more elements in the array. In this case, it's going to do it 4 times because this array has 4 elements. And you can see that by, I'm just going to print it out so you can see that the array has 4 elements. Number of elements in the array is equal to the name of the array is a dot length. That's gonna be an integer. I'm gonna run it, and there you have it. It prints this line first, example using arrays, and then this loop is gonna loop through the array 4 times. So the first time A0, it loaded the value of A0, which is 0, into this variable value, and then that variable gets printed. So it's printing 0 here. The second time through, it loads the value of A1 in there, and that is 1. Then it does it again, loaded 2, and the last time it loaded 3 in there, and it printed the value. When we come down to here, we print the number of elements in the array is the length of the array, which is 4.